Hello, it's Sadie Boulay, and I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, as we know, Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested, charged, and denied bail for various crimes that they say he committed against humanity. Well, I'm just here to tell you that he didn't do it. No matter what they say he didn't do it. Now, listen to this.
Sean Puffy Combs' federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. Stomping out Cassie, he was not charged with a crime. The freak-offs are not crimes. So why do we keep hearing about Cassie? Why do we keep hearing about baby oil? Why do we keep hearing about freak-offs? Where are the federal charges, and why are the charges being sealed? Why did the feds seal the charges against Sean Puffy Combs? I'm going to tell you one reason why the feds sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs. One of the biggest reasons they sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs is because the evidence is probably weak. The evidence is probably weak. And because the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, and because the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, they had to seal the charges. They had to hide the charges from you and I. They had to hide the charges from you and I long enough for the public execution to be carried out.
So he went on for about 5 minutes with this rant, but I had to just edit out most of it because he likes to go on with a lot of obscene and vulgar language when he's speaking about women, especially black women. So there's just so much of it that I can take. So I will put it in the comment section if you would like to hear the whole thing. But he goes on and on and on about why Sean Puffy Combs is probably not guilty because they probably don't have enough evidence, and that's probably why they sealed it. So you see, he didn't do it. Whatever they say he did, he didn't do it. Now, black Americans are never going to get a crime bill because of things like this. Black people have been complaining about this guy for years. But for whatever reason, when it comes time for a black man to have to pay for what he has done, or what people say he has done, and the gate goes up. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. No matter what anybody says, he didn't do it. No matter what we see, no matter what we hear, no matter what anybody says, eyewitnesses, whatever anybody writes, none of it is true. He didn't do it. And that is the case for most black men. They didn't do it. So let's listen to another conspiracy theory.
How you feel about the situation that Diddy in?
Let's say this. Something else is going on. They didn't raid, they searched with a warrant his premises on the West Coast, right? They searched his premises on the East Coast in Florida, right? On the same property that the premises was located that they searched in Florida, he had a second mansion. They didn't touch that one. Why not? And when they walk out of there, they got a small trash bag and they have a medium-sized cardboard box. What was it they seized that would fit into those items? I have a sneaking suspicion from my background in criminal defense that what they seized was some evidence that was very incriminating to other people. Now, after they seized the evidence, they had no probable cause to arrest him on any crime. He hasn't been indicted. They talked to him at an airport before he got on a private jet to fly to an island that has no extradition agreement with the United States. Have you heard anybody trying to prosecute him?
Not at all.
So what did they do? See, the feds are interesting. Who served the search warrant?
Homeland Security.
Now, what the hell do they have to do with that? That's a FBI mandate.
Now, what Judge Joe Brown says makes absolutely good sense to me. There were other people involved in his operation. People who were most likely higher up and more powerful than he. So he was doing the bidding for people that wanted things done. They didn't want to get their hands dirty. So that's how come he's worth all that money that they say he's worth. Because it's sure as hell not because he's that great of a singer, because he's not. But the question for me is he guilty of anything? Did he do anything in violation of other human beings? Not what somebody else pushed him up to do, or set him up to do, or told him to do, or paid him to do. Did he do anything wrong? Is he guilty of anything? I think that's the question that Black Americans want answered. It's certainly the question that I want answered. Did he do anything wrong? Because we already know how this system works. We already know how Black people have been used to do the dirty work of other people. Is there anything that he needs to pay for? And looking back, all of this killing and shooting of these rappers began in 1996 with Tupac. And of course they say this guy was involved in that. We still don't really know why Tupac and then Biggie, what was his name? Biggie something or another. We don't understand why those people got killed. They were good rappers. People liked them. What was so important going on that they needed to be killed? And then it has just like had a snowball effect on Black American musicians, rappers specifically. They're just dying, going and coming. For what? But anyway, I'm not saying this man is to blame for all of it, but I'm saying that he was best friend, so-called, with one of them, and then I guess he was an enemy of the other. But that's when all of this started. Now, all of this has contributed to the degenerate part of the Black American culture. It's gotten so bad now that Black people, especially with teenage sons, have to sacrifice to send those children to private schools when they get a certain age to ensure that they will get a decent education and that they can get them on a decent course to life, but also to keep their children alive. Black people are trying to finance homes in neighborhoods where they really can't afford to be in to try to offset this nonsense. And lately, I've heard that Black people, some of this activity toward the Republican Party is that Black people are trying to distance themselves from the toxicity of this ghetto culture that Black people seem to be so fascinated with, that is promoted to the world and they get paid. I hear people always bringing up Sexy Red and Suki Hum, whatever her name is. These kind of low-level rappers, and they try to use them to define Black American culture. They are not the sum total of the Black American culture, but they are an aspect of it. Every society, every race, every ethnic group has a degenerate culture. They don't admit it, but they do. The difference between the Black American degenerate culture is that it's profitable. It sells. And the people who engage in the degenerate aspect of Black American culture are always willing to do anything for $1. So our culture is on display. So I'll put it this way. The degenerate part of Black American culture is on display. And I don't know whether this man is guilty or not. But being stalked, arrested, and charged by federal officials is not a good look. In Black America, sometimes it feels like we take one step forward and 2 steps back. We have one group of people who will sacrifice and discipline themselves and stand for something to build our culture up so that it's respected, it's strong, and it's viable. And then you have another group that'll come right behind them and tear it down and won't feel any guilt about it. So no, I don't know whether this man is guilty or not. But what we do know is that the things that he's accused of doing or degenerate. We can all agree on that, I believe. So now the question is he guilty of anything? Now, for many of us, we really want this to play out in court to see what the evidence is. But I know for many Black Americans, it's always going to be the case that he didn't do it. No matter what it is, he didn't do it. Now, y'all let me know what you think about this. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.